ready for another lesson?
This one right out here, Nathaniel.
An in-person jam session.
I can actually hear it this time.
It's always good, isn't it?
It is. It is. It's got to be revitalized, feeling good, feeling great. Got a lot on my plate. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode in the news, it's a light news week, but we have a bit of a cast update on Dune Part 2. Another actor joins the crew there. In trailer talk, we have the Prey teaser trailer. We'll get to that. It's a very short teaser, but I'm sure we have a bit of talk to talk about. We'll get to the new to streaming list, which is a bit of a shorter list this week. The what we're watching, of course, and then our main review for the episode is Top Gun. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, of course, by Nighthawk Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? I'm Nighthawk Nathaniel, named after a router.
Yeah, that's exactly where the origin that came from. It fits very well into the movie.
Yeah,
a lot of routers.
Yeah, are you saying that's my call sign?
That's your call sign right there, Nighthawk.
It's not bad.
You like it? Yeah,
I'll take that.
Also joining us today, of course, it's Tyler Vidalis.
I was gonna make a sound for a talent, but
you can make the Falcon sound. Isn't that your favorite bird? Isn't that what you said? Falcons?
Probably. I mean, it's a bird of prey, so I probably
said
something along those lines.
I feel like I just remember I think on an on-pod conversation was you saying you really like falcons.
I feel like that was true as well, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I know you better than know yourself.
I agree.
I seem to have a recollection.
I seem to remember a little bit.
If not, it's canon now.
And rounding out the squadron, of course, it's Big Cat, BlakeHolder.
Hey, back to the OG name.
Yeah, we just got the classic call sign there, Big Cat. No need to add the Blake in this time. You know that'd be outside the realm of call signs. You know, it's just Big Cat.
I like it. I like it. Always nice to go back sometimes.
Short and sweet,
visit some old things.
Exactly. Oh man, it's good to be back in person.
What would your call sign be? Would you just be H?
Yeah, well, I would love to be H, but I feel like if I was actually in the Navy, like it'd be like a cool thing where you got Hollywood, you got Maverick, Goose, like
Armadillo,
Armadillo. It could be
Yo, low key, that'd be a sick ass looking helmet.
Armadillo.
It's got like the armadillo.
Yeah, we could do that.
Fucking sick.
Yeah.
I think Aardvark would be a cool one.
We could call you Dillo.
Dillo. All right, I'll go with that. Armadillo.
I can't honestly say that I would stick to just Dillo.
I think we're gonna have to leave that at allegedly. I don't know. I don't know.
You want your name to be allegedly?
Allegedly? No, I meant the rest of what Tyler
allegedly
was
Adam.
Allegedly Adam.
Allegedly on your left. Isn't he?
I don't know. I'm just covering my ass here.
Be the worst call sign ever. So many miscomms, man.
He's shot down, allegedly.
Allegedly. God, dude, could you imagine reading that like after action report? Like he allegedly went left, and that'd be rough. Man, can you tell we're back in person? It's been like 30 seconds, and we're already here. Oh man, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah. I'm sure our big stepper talk will get into post pod here, but it's always a great week after a Kendrick drop like that. You know what I'm saying? Just riding off that high. Still fresh.
Absolutely. And we finally got some good weather here in the Midwest. This is just all around a very productive week.
I was thinking about this on my drive back, but I think I'm spoiled because I'm a little further south in Missouri, so I get the nicer weather earlier. And then right when I come back, it's nice weather here. So like I just get nice weather now, a little bit better. Because it's been nice weather for the past like 2 or 3 weeks back in Missouri, back in Como, and come back and you guys finally have nice weather here. It's great.
And then you're going to DC.
Yeah. And I'm going to DC where it's gonna be hella humid, but it'll still be nice. Still be nice and very scenic, I'm sure. That'll be a fun time. I don't know if did we ever talk about the fact that I'm going to DC on pod?
I think I alluded to it.
You alluded to it where we were thinking about, or at least I was thinking about how we might have to take a hiatus here while I'm gone. But I'll be in Washington D.C. working an internship and basically doing a course/program through Mizzou for all of June and July.
Round of applause.
Oh, thank you. There it is. No, but I'm excited. It should be fun. Don't know what to expect. I've never been to DC, so it's just gonna be me in a foreign land for 2 months, and we'll get the bearings down though. Lots to do out there. Got to start a list. You guys ever been to DC?
How long is the internship, bro?
On an 8th grade field trip.
An 8th grade field trip? See, I never went to my 8th grade field trip to DC, so I'm finally getting my comeuppance on that. Finally getting back to it. The internship is basically the entire time I'm there. I'm starting some stuff like next week and the week after. My full-time responsibilities will start the week that I get down there, the week of the 6th, and then it's done the week that I get back. Like I have to work it from home since it's all remote. I work it from home for like a week once I get back. And then the class that I'm taking is every Thursday night there's a class, and then Fridays is a field trip, and each week of the class is taught by a different professor. A few are from Mizzou and a few are from professors or people who work in DC. And then every Friday you go on a field trip with the professor of that class. So some of them are like to further out places, like we go to Gettysburg, we go to Annapolis, Maryland, we go to Monticello, and then there's a few that are like more specific in DC. Like one of the weeks, as of now, we're supposed to visit the CIA headquarters. But that's TBD with the whole Russia-Ukraine stuff going on. If they'll actually let us in, but because they've had that happen before, where with COVID or other things going on there, where they've said no to the people coming to the program and visiting. So that's what we have planned right now.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited. There's just gonna be so much to do while I'm out there. But I also know myself, and I know that by the end of those 2 months, I'm gonna be dying to get back home because I'm a homebody kind of person. I like having my stuff. I like, having my like little sanctuary of everything when I come back home from, a trip, or even if it's just like a long day or whatever it is. And so like the fact that I won't have that for 2 months is going to be a little rough on me, but we'll make it through.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the news here, guys. Let's get into the show. Our first and only news story of the week: Christopher Walken joins Timothée Chalamet and Zendaya in Dune Part 2.
Do you have a good Christopher Walken impersonation?
I don't, and I could try, but I really am gonna save myself that embarrassment.
Okay.
Do you? Does anyone here have one?
I do not.
Let it rip.
know.
Yeah.
Why does that name sound so familiar? Is that the older like white guy with the really distinct face? That's a very poor.
you know.
Yeah.
You guys know what I'm trying to describe.
That one older white guy. Yes, probably.
Yeah, kinda.
He is an older white guy with a very distinctive face.
Yeah, but you could also say that about like Willem Dafoe. So
he's older than
that could also be Willem Dafoe.
Right?
That's actually really funny.
I'm trying to think of what Blake would know him from.
What would you know him from? He's one of the like more storied actors in Hollywood at this point.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Kind of knows. Anyway, he will be taking the role of Emperor Shaddam IV. That's really all it says.
Have you read Dune yet?
No, I haven't. That's one I'm gonna read while I'm out in DC. That's kind of like the one I've decided I'm gonna pick up and get through over the summer.
For sure.
Yeah, because I want to read more, and I love reading, and I used to love reading. Like I would read all the time, but ever since I've gotten to college, it's just like all I do is read for my classes, and the last thing I want to do to relax is read more. So the summers I always get back into a book or two, and then once I get out of college, I think I'll start reading a lot more again. But it's just all I do is read textbooks and articles and papers, and it's just exhausting. Anyway, Dune. I don't really know. Obviously, I haven't read it yet, so I don't know what this kind of role would be for him.
I feel like he's a bad guy.
Yeah. What was the name of the first bad guy? It was
Harkonnen?
Yeah, Harkonnen. Yeah, I think that was something like that. That was Skarsgård, right?
But I think the Emperor sent the
their race
Harkonnens
something?
there
Yes,
to
this-
the.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like the overruling emperor, as far as I know.
Do you think he'll get the Star Wars Emperor Palpatine treatment, or do you think they'll let him be Walken-y?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't think they can let him be too Walken-y, but also how do you take Walken out of Christopher Walken? You know what I'm saying? Like I think they're not gonna let him go super, superfluous with his personality and let him character act like or not character or like actor act, if that makes sense. Like Jeff Goldblum plays Jeff Goldblum nowadays, where they just like, okay, have fun. I don't think they're gonna do that with this. I think Denny V is gonna kind of rein that in, but also you can't really stop Christopher Walken from being who he is at this point in his career. So I think it'll be in the middle.
Tyler, are you raising your hand?
No, I was changing my lights, but I will put my 2 cents in here, I guess. I would prefer them to almost make him unrecognizable.
I was gonna
like they
ask.
have with Colin Farrell, and that way you can kind of, I think, because for me that's like one of the best parts about him in that movie, Colin Farrell as Penguin, is you let his acting just kind of do the work, because you don't know that it's him, especially people that didn't look into like the casting and everything like that, who didn't know that was him. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? Because he did an awesome job.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope it's more like that, to where people almost don't look at it and then they're like, dude, that guy was like fucking insane, and then they go look and they're like, what? That's what I want.
I would love that. That sounds awesome. I think they get there too. Like they obviously they kind of did that with Skarsgård as Harkonnen in the first one, part 1.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. I wonder if they'll go makeup or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. I guess we'll have to see. I mean, I don't know when does production start on this.
I feel like it's got to be soon.
Yeah, right.
Blake's giving us a thumbs up. Are you trying to determine if you can hear us, Blake? Well, I'm talking to you now. I cannot hear you. No.
So, according to digitalspy.com, I don't know how reputable that is, but Denny V has confirmed that part 2 will begin filming by the end of summer 2022. So probably by August.
Okay.
And productions on the first one was a while. I think he said 3 or 4 months that he was in the desert. And then you obviously have like post-production and stuff like that. So if I had to guess, we're looking at about another 1.5 to 2 years.
Do you guys got me now?
I do, yeah.
There you are.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my bad. Nonetheless, I was really interested in the conversation on Dune, but I believe my mic may have cut out. But I agree with what Tyler was saying in terms of just kind of making him unrecognizable. But that's pretty much what they did with the Baron, right? Who was the villain in pretty much part 1, and that's Skarsgård, right? It's Big Skarsgård, I'll just say. I think he was pretty unrecognizable, and I think that goes over pretty well. It's Tyler's point. You just let the person act, right, and puts their talent on the screen instead of putting a face to a name, and I think it'll work out. I think that movie's going to be awesome either way, which I'm sure we're all in agreement.
Definitely. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it for the news as a whole. Another movie that we think could be good, I'm assuming, is Prey.
Hoping so.
Prey.
I pray to God this movie's good. Ironically.
Pray to God.
I pray to God.
Pun unintended, apparently.
Yeah.
All right. Thoughts here, Blake and Nathaniel. And Ty, too.
I guess I'll jump
first.
I'm pretty big on the Predator hierarchy and kind of their film in that world. I mean, I think this has potential to be like really good because like on paper the idea is awesome, right? Because obviously the Predators, these hunters have been around for
generations.
Who knows how long?
Yeah.
Right. So they've obviously come across different warriors, different civilizations, and things of that nature. So it'd be really cool to kind of see them take on something of this time frame. But I feel like this can just go so wrong.
You think?
Because it's been a while since a good Predator movie, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been a long time. So
that's the guy
that's what's going against them.
It's the guy that did 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I think is a really good movie.
It's a great movie.
I agree. I think that's the best Cloverfield movie. I'd say that.
So I'd say it's like, fresh eyes on it maybe. It doesn't feel like it's like going to be tied in. At least I hope it's not,
Yeah.
Cool time
Trailer
period.
was good. Didn't give a lot of plot info,
Right.
so like
Which we don't
that was
need.
good. I
We
was
don't
happy to see
need
that.
Hollywood.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, it's Predator, but it's set in like Native American times. And I think they said it's on the Comanches, maybe. But
I'm not sure. I can't confirm.
But yeah, don't see a ton on there. You basically see a couple of the Native Americans hunting, and then you see like the red dot scope pop up on them.
Yeah.
Which is so iconic. I love just seeing that
Right.
anywhere, like you know exactly what it is, and then
The 3 dots.
Yeah, and the noise. They have like a
So
chattering
good.
noise.
I hope they take it back to basics where it's just like one predator versus a group of people, right? Rather than like, oh, there's a super predator and we have to work together for some reason.
I hear you, man.
Unite the tribes.
I'm with you.
Right.
Do you think they take that route though? Because we've now seen the
feels
last
like it.
three
Feels like it,
Predator
yeah.
movies have not taken that route.
Right. It feels
suck.
like this is the way you do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if it's awesome though, and then we get like the samurai predator one,
Oh.
or like
I hope
the
so.
pirate predator one.
That'd be cool.
I hope so. That'd be cool, and just put them in different time periods.
Right.
That'd be dope.
Give one to Eggers.
Yeah, he'd be great. Do like a Viking one.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
I would actually love to see that, like Predator and then the Viking time period. That'd be dope.
I want to see how they fight this thing.
But how do you feel about it coming straight to Hulu?
I'm good with that.
That's fine.
Because I don't think this was going to go to theaters and be a blockbuster, right? Just based off the last 3 Predator movies. So I think it could be cultivating if it goes on Hulu, turns out to be pretty good, gets word of mouth, social media. That's easy access to a ton of people.
I was gonna say, I think it's a good play for just getting it in as front of as many people as you possibly can.
For sure.
Well, okay. How about this? If they do well with this one, do you think there's any chance that Prey 2 set in, let's say they get Robert Eggers and he does it on Viking? Do you think there's any chance that movie goes to a theater, or do you think it has to go to streaming?
I think they'll either send it to a theater, depending on what that contract looks like between them and Hulu, that they just like, you know what, it's ours, we're just going to buy it outright. And then, they just get the rights to whatever happens after this. And, that's still a fat payout for whoever that is.
Yeah.
Oh, did we lose you again, Blake?
Yeah, Blake, you're talking. We can't hear you.
Now, is this straight, exclusively to Hulu?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if it was just coming straight to streaming as well, one of those. But if it's only on Hulu, that's an interesting thing because this looks like a little bit bigger budget than you'd see in a typical.
Well, that's kind of my
straight-to-streaming
point.
service.
Yeah. Blake, I think it was when you moved your mic stand that it popped out. So I think it's your mic cord, maybe. But yeah, it sounds like you're back now.
You're right.
There you go.
You're back.
Okay.
Can you try to maybe wrap the cord around your microphone so it sits down in there a lot more sturdy instead of having a hard 90-degree angle on it?
Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah, even if you just flop it over once, I think that's going to be just a lot better positioning for it.
Okay. Cool. Real quick before we spin off the Predator thing. Yeah, I'm completely on board with everything Ty, Nathaniel, and Adam have been saying to that point. If Robert Eggers ever made a Predator movie in any time period, that would probably go to my second favorite movie all time before even watching it. That much.
Now imagine Florence Pugh as the lead.
Right. It'd be Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. It's actually a buddy cop movie of Florence Pugh and Anya Taylor-Joy as they hunt the Predator. God,
they hunt the Predator made by Robert Eggers.
Yeah, made by Robert Eggers. That is Blake's dream movie.
That'd be funny, dude.
It'd be hilarious. All right, well, that comes out August 5th, so it's not even that far away. And then hopefully we get a longer trailer sometime in between now and then, I'm assuming.
Real quick before we go on, because I know that was the only trailer that we had, but if anybody cares, I care to an extent still. The Boys Season 3 trailer dropped.
Oh, I didn't see that.
If anybody's interested.
Yeah, I saw that come across my YouTube. I didn't watch it because I haven't watched the season of that or any of the seasons of that.
Yep.
But I figured that'd be a big talking point. How do you feel about that show?
I love it, man. I think it's great.
Okay.
So many people are like so high on it, and I think it's good, but it's not like super special to me personally.
Yeah, I don't think it's like the end all be all. I guess we'll see after this season. But first season definitely hooked a ton of people, and then second season a lot of people were, meh. So we'll see what this season does, but definitely not the greatest show on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
But it's realistic. It's kind of goes what we were playing on last week. It's realistic consequences of superheroes or what superheroes might cause, and it's absolute chaos, and I love it.
Yeah, that's a valid point. Definitely. I'm waiting on Invincible season 2, which I don't even know if they've started production on that, because I know for a long time they were like, oh yeah, there's a lot of issues for some reason with getting that production started. I don't know what the issues were exactly, but I don't even know if they've started a season 2 for that yet, which is unfortunate. It's got approved, like it's in the works, but they haven't like really started development.
It's got to be scheduling, I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, because that voice acting cast is insane.
Stacked, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get into those graphic novels. I think I'll pick one of those up sometime soon.
Yeah, they're good.
Yeah. All right, well, we can get on to Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new streaming list for the week of May 15th through the 21st. Netflix is getting Jackass 4.5. It's the newest Jackass Forever. It's coming to Netflix, and I believe last week the other 3 Jackasses came to Netflix as well, so they're all on Netflix now.
Hooray!
So if you want to go back and take a look at those, they're there. Love, Death, and Robots, Volume 3.
Wow, that's quick.
Sweet.
Right? That's how you know we've been doing this podcast a long time. When the first, the second Volume 2 came out, when we were doing this podcast, and now they already have Volume 3. It's already.
I feel like it's within 9 months though. Wasn't that 2021 that came out?
It was very early. I think it's been about a year.
Okay.
It was pretty early 2021 if I remember.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Regardless, quick turnaround. Either way, Ty, excitement levels. I'm assuming you're gonna check this out.
I think this will be pretty great. I definitely love the first season. Second season, I think there were some losses and some wins, but still enough there to definitely keep me interested for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, I never finished Volume 2, but I think I finished Volume 1 and I started Volume 2. But maybe I'll go back in and re-dive into those because they were pretty fun. I remember the first season has that one with the zombies and the Russian soldiers.
Yeah.
I need a full-scale movie of that kind of animation where it's like cutscene animation. Like that, it's good enough where I would watch that.
It's called Beowulf.
Is that a thing? Do they have a full movie like that?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, okay.
It's like motion capture with those faces like that.
Okay. Yeah, I would watch that.
Angelina Jolie is in that, isn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. When did that come out?
2008, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah. 2006.
Okay, now I say that, but I feel like that's a long ass time ago. And I like a modern mocap movie in that kind of sense where it is that level of fidelity. I think that would be much better. And I feel like that we're at a spot now where that's tangible and people would watch that because I would. It's a nice animation style. It's really cool. Yeah. Ghost in the Shell SAC_2045. It's basically Ghost in the Shell this anime season 2. It's coming on Netflix. So I haven't watched any of Ghost in the Shell, but I know a lot of people are big fans. That's it for Netflix. Nothing coming to Amazon Prime. Hulu is getting My Academia Complete Season 5 dub. So if Ty and Nathaniel, I don't know if you guys are still rocking on that.
I think I'm caught up on that. Not sure. But
what was it?
My Hero.
My Hero. That's what I thought you said. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I've kind of been waiting for as many dubs as possible to come out because that's how Nathaniel and I had started it, and we tried watching the subs at one point, but it was just too different. Where we both kind of looked at each other and our faces were kind of disgusting, and we were like, I can't. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
Well, the full season 5 dubbed is out on Hulu.
Good,
just for you, Ty. That's it for Hulu. HBO Max is getting The Mule. 2018.
So with Clint Eastwood?
Yep.
Okay.
I heard that movie's really bad.
I don't know.
I don't feel like it was good.
It wasn't
it didn't strike me as one that could be good. Put it that way.
Who knows? And there's nothing coming to Disney Plus this week, and so that is your list.
Ooh.
We can get on to what we're watching here, guys. What have you guys been up to? I know we could do a whole what we're listening segment, but I think that's just gonna be post pod, and we'll do a whole bit of sizzle hopefully next week on that album. Besides that, what you guys been watching? I'll kick over to BlakeHolder first off. Kick us off here, Blake.
Oh, okay, yeah. Actually, did not watch too much this weekend. I had a super busy week.
Sure.
And kind of some few things going on. One thing I have been pushing through still is Atlanta.
Okay.
And I've now, what is that? I think that was episode 8, just came out last week. So the season finale comes out this week. And this season may be the best season so far. I mean, the direction's awesome, cinematography is awesome. The message in these episodes gets better each time. The last episode was filmed in black and white, and the entire episode has to do with race and somebody who identifies as black, and they're biracial, and it's just awesome.
Yeah.
So there's so many things going on in this show, and I think this, I say it time and time again, but I think this may end up passing the wire for me personally. We'll have to see how seasons 4 and 5 go. I believe 5 is the end of the show, they've said. And I believe 4 has already been filmed, which I believe releases later this year. But yeah, it's awesome, man. It's funny. The cast is great. I love Donald Glover. I love Brian Tyree Henry, Lakeith Stanfield, Zazie Beetz. Everything is going off. I would encourage anybody to watch that, no matter your ethnicity. I think you can understand the show and kind of appreciate everything they got going on for it. So started that, or finishing that, I should say. I started Snowfall.
What is that?
Which is it's on Hulu. It's through FX again.
Okay.
And it's a show I've been recommended a lot by a lot of friends, and it's a show that takes place in LA, like Compton area. I want to say it's gotta be like the 80s, because it's definitely like the crack era. And it's a black dude, and he ends up becoming like a notorious like drug dealer, and the CIA ends up funding him to distribute drugs to the black community. But it's a really good show from like everything I've kind of been told, and I'm just now getting on board. I think season 5 just ended like last month or so.
Okay.
So I think that's the next one I'm gonna try to gear up on and see if I can start like deep diving into shows eventually.
Yeah.
But so that one's good so far. I've got 2 episodes in on that, and I'm pretty much hooked. It's pretty good, but I got to give it more time to commit, because I just got way too much time and resources going into Atlanta. Like, I'll put that show on anytime I got free time.
Sure.
So that's really all I've watched. Ton of just YouTube, ton of music. Yeah, that's really all I got. So super busy week, and then we'll touch on some things later. But yeah, that's all I've got. I'll pass it over let's go to Ty.
I have not gotten around to a lot, that is for sure. So I think a lot of my time was spent on Twitch and YouTube this week. Oh, you know what? There's something I have been watching on YouTube a lot that I actually forgot. So I'll just start off with that before I forget it again. But I was looking for something like just, we call it trash TV, and some just kind of occupy space when you're cleaning or doing the chores, something like that.
15 minutes.
So,
So just when you have 15 minutes, those kind of in between times.
Yeah, I mean, even a little bit more.
There's
sometimes.
like background
It's one of those shows for me. But that has been Kitchen Nightmares. So that's just a non-guilty. It's just a pleasure for me.
Is that
what is that?
Is that a Gordon Ramsay?
It is Gordon Ramsay, Nathaniel, and Blake. What were you saying?
Are they just like cleaning people's kitchen, or is it like nightmares of food people have cooked in their kitchen?
So he essentially goes into a restaurant that is currently failing, and then he basically tells them, it's your menu,
suck!
It's because you're an asshole, it's because your restaurant looks like shit, or all the above. So he essentially, by the end of the episode, does a reopening with either like a new menu or a new stylized restaurant, or just after the owner or whoever has had some kind of epiphany that they're a fucking moron. So yeah, it's aimless television, but it's Gordon Ramsay, and I love cooking, and I love Gordon, so that's always a funny mix for me. Another TV show that's not so aimless, but still one of those TV shows you got to put on, and it's Forged in Fire. I've still just been kind of
I knew it was
strong
coming.
on it.
I knew it was coming.
Yep. So it's great. I got around to another episode of Halo. Still interesting. It still kind of seems like it feels like it's being very pulled out here, kind of for now. But I guess we'll see, and I'll probably end up doing a rewatch when I can kind of binge a little bit more. But
now, which episode
so far
is this? Is this 7 that you watched?
I think this was 7 or 8.
I think they're up to. Oh wait, they might be up to 8. I don't remember. I haven't watched the most recent one, but I've that's the only one I haven't watched. But I know what happens in it. Do you know what I'm talking about? If I with that reference.
Yes.
Okay, I know it. And I haven't seen it, and it's like I don't know if I even want to watch this anymore. And that's not something I was thinking I would say going into the start of the show. But holy crap, how do they do that to this show? I don't know.
Yeah. Just watch it.
I will.
Or don't.
No, I will.
don't care.
I said that knowing full well that I was
general.
absolutely going to watch it. I was just being a little dramatic, but my
yeah,
God,
is
this
listeners too?
Yeah.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Oh, listeners, yeah, you can skip this unless you're a diehard Halo fan and you want to torture yourself like me. But God, dude, I can't and the worst part about this all is that they have a second season confirmed. So I unless they change something dramatically, they're not going to do this, but I would love it if they just erase this first season and try it again instead. But they're not going to do that, unfortunately. So
yeah, probably not.
I don't know. They can still recover the second season. They could, there's definitely things they could do that would bring me back in or turn it around, but they got to do a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what they do. But hopefully they take some feedback and kind of meet fans somewhere in the middle of where they are now.
That's how it should be done.
Yeah, right?
So we'll see, I suppose.
Yeah. Did I tell this on the pod where the showrunners a week before the show debuted said they didn't reference the games at all? None of them played the games or looked at the games.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. So maybe revise that. Maybe use that as a bit of a baseline so you can actually see what Halo's supposed to be instead of whatever the hell they just turned it into. But I digress. What else have you been watching, Ty? Anything else?
Yeah. It is what it is right now.
It is what it is right now. I can't do anything about it.
So, and then the last thing that I got around to is there is a new Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock joint with a Brad Pitt cameo.
I saw this as well.
Oh, that's the comedy joint, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a rom-com.
Yeah, and it's got
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that the guy from Harry Potter? Or is that a different?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure, but I didn't want to.
It's not the guy from Harry Potter. It is Harry Potter.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The boy.
So
who
that's
lived.
called the Lost City, and that was the last thing I got around to.
Yeah, I saw that as well. I've seen, or I previously on pod. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not terrible. I think the best 15-20 minutes is when Brad Pitt's in the movie, but
Right, yeah.
Other than that, it's fine. So, but Nathaniel, since we've shared that, why don't you go ahead and take it from here, bud?
Okie dokie, folks. So I'll take it from here. I don't know why I started with that accent. That was really weird, but I guess just in-person excitement. Yeah, leaked out there. What did I get to? I watched Our Father, the one that we referenced last week.
I also watched Our Father.
Yeah, really gross.
Very.
It
was somehow even more effed up than I thought it was from those trailers.
Yeah, there was a couple times in I was like, well, it's not gonna go past here. And then,
right?
They keep revealing more information. I was just like, God, this is very strange. Good, not so good that you couldn't see where the documentary was getting a little bit what's the word I'm looking for? Stylized?
Yes.
Over stylized?
Yeah, the reenactments were a choice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the way
information
was delivered to the viewer, and even I think when I turned it on Netflix, it was produced by Jason Blum of Blumhouse, and I was like, when you see that, you could see almost similar camera style
100%.
to like Blumhouse movies and everything. So that was a little bit. I was just like, all right, was this necessary? You know, like, is this not like weird? You know, salacious enough? You know?
No, yeah. Can we not just like get the information? You really have to like drag it out in such a pointed way, almost.
Almost exactly like kind of soap opera like in some areas.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
Overall, it was just one of those things where you're just going, holy crap, and like I can imagine people will be talking about this one for weeks and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. No, it was good but not in the way.
Yeah.
The documentary itself was good. The subject matter was not.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
So after that, I thought, well, I've just got to watch a fun comedy. So, I watched this movie. It's on Hulu. It's called Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn.
Okay.
It's a Romanian film.
Okay. What made you pick this?
I had seen Film Crit Hulk reference it on Twitter at one point. And then I also I've seen 4 Months, 3 Weeks, 2 Days. It's one of my absolute favorite movies.
That's one you've had on a short list for a while.
Yeah, that is also a Romanian film set in the 80s, and also kind of using their political history as a backdrop. There's a lot of familiarity between the two, I feel like, but definitely more of kind of, I guess, an art house movie, if you want to call it that, but very biting, funny, great little microcosm of... It feels like today's current society. It takes place during COVID. Mm-hmm. It's about a teacher who has her sex tape with her husband leaked on the internet. And then, the school, it basically takes place over a day where she is going to meet with the parents who have, like, called a impropriety meeting together, basically. But it brings in all these, political themes and kind of... representatives into kind of this little story, and then sets it up in this great little part 3 ending or a third act ending. So definitely recommend. Definitely not going to be for everybody if you're interested in something other than American film or British film. Definitely something to check out, I would say, for sure.
And what is that on Hulu, you said?
Hulu, yeah. Okay. A terrible streaming service for this type of movie to be on, because you'll be in there like watching it, like trying to understand, obviously, because it's not in English, and like it does a good job with the captions, but you're sitting there reading, following along with the story, and then there'll be a fucking ad for McDonald's in the middle of it, and you're just like, what is happening
I know.
right now?
And I don't want to pay for non-ad Hulu. Like, I don't use it that much.
Well, and even then, like, non-ad Hulu still has ads on some things.
Does it really?
Yeah, like...
Oh, that's tragic.
It's just
what
smaller
am I paying for
ad.
then? Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah. I have the Disney bundle.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, that's all I just have the Disney bundle, so I get the Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu all together, and then Hulu is with ads. So,
yeah, I was gonna say, does anybody have Hulu without ads? Yeah, I honestly don't know anybody who has Hulu without ads. Everyone I know has Hulu, has it through bundles, through their phone provider. To your point, Adam, through I think you said HBO, or what'd you say, through
the
ESPN
Disney
Plus?
Yeah, the Disney bundle.
I think you just...
some people have it through Spotify.
I think you just go to Disney World now, and they just give you a thing for Hulu.
They probably do.
Hulu with ads, yeah.
Well, I mean...
It's printed, Hulu with ads given.
Disney's primary way of making money is definitely not Hulu. Like, I don't know. They don't care.
But it could be a great space for films like this.
Oh,
like films that they have the rights to that are R-rated, or that they don't want to put on Disney Plus or something like that. Yeah,
they need to put more like Fox Searchlight stuff on.
Well, that's what... Yeah, that's what a lot of it is. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they need to
But I don't want to watch it with fucking ads.
Right? No, and the other thing is like Disney Plus is such a great streaming service for what it is, and like also we talk about constantly like the quality of it and everything like that. And Hulu's a little bit better than it was before. I don't feel like it's on par with Disney Plus though. So they could just like
ESPN Plus is trash.
Yeah, ESPN Plus is very trash.
Absolutely, dude. I just stream.
So they I don't know what Disney's doing with their app development side of things, but they could really just revamp all of Hulu and ESPN and put them all on the same page, or just make it Disney app where you got all three in one spot. Maybe that'd be cool too.
That's fine. Anyways,
anyway,
so Bad Luck Banging or Loony Porn, worth the watch, I think. I got to Top Gun, obviously, and I also got to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, as we've talked about a bit on pod. Woke up on, what day was that? Friday that it released?
Thursday night / Friday.
Yeah, so it was Friday morning. I woke up and just rolled over into bed, hooked up my headphones, and pulled up the lyrics on iTunes or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't looked at
the whole thing.
I haven't been looking at the lyrics.
I had to. I was terrified. I was terrified like I was going to be reading something and there's going to be some like anti-vax shit in there, and I was just going to be like, fuck, there goes Kendrick. Like,
yeah.
No, but luckily we avoided all of that. Good. So
no, I will eventually get around to doing like a listen where I get I've listened to like half the album on my headphones, and I think that's the best way to listen to music is like the headphones, especially nice ones like these, and you can obviously get better ones.
First time for sure.
Yeah, the first time for me was on my soundbar, which was it's the Polk Sigma S2. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Dude, that soundbar is incredible for the price. Like, it's a 2.1, and it sounds fantastic. And I have the OLED, and I've never really felt the need to upgrade my audio just because I'm very content with what I have. And, you know, there's definitely better audio out there, but it's pretty good for what it is. But, yeah, headphones are the way to go. So I really need to get a listen with the XM4s in.
Yeah.
Also, take into consideration the room you're in.
True.
Also
2.1 in a dorm room is or I mean even in a bedroom in a house or whatever, you know, it's still it's very very good.
Yes.
So I also got to the UFC this weekend. That was also on as usual. But then basically the other thing I got to was a show on HBO Max called The Staircase.
I've seen clips of this, I think.
Yeah, so it is a fictionalized, reenacted, or I guess biopic version of an incident that happened in the late 2001, in which a semi-famous, famous enough at the time that he was, lived a pretty rich lifestyle. His his wife fell down the stairs, allegedly, and he was arrested.
Sorry, I'm going left.
What?
Reference to the top of the
I was so into the story recap there because it had so many moving parts. I just did not just right over my head. Allegedly, thank you.
Yeah,
I got it. Yeah, but yeah, she fell down the stairs, and the police say that he killed her. He said that she fell down the stairs. There's a gap in time, but in 2001, at the time, a French film crew came in and made a documentary about the series, and then revisited it in 2017 when more about the case came up. And I've seen that documentary, but now they're doing a reenactment of it with also like the French film crew is our characters in the story and everything like that too. Yeah, so it's starring Colin Firth.
Okay.
And has Terry Collette from Hereditary in it as well too. Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones plays one of the daughters in it as well.
Haven't seen her in a while.
Yep.
Probably because of Dark Phoenix.
Yep. As well as Dane DeHaan from...
name sounds familiar, but I can't put a face to
it. He's Harry Osborn in Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
But yeah, great actor as well too. Just a good cast overall. Really interesting on HBO Max. If you're into like a little bit of true crime or history, biopic kind of things, check that out as well. But other than that, Adam, I'll kick it over to you.
Sure. I already talked about Halo TV show. I don't want to go back into those. Finished out Bullshit the Game Show season 1. Fun time. It was fun. I haven't like sat down and like watched a game show in a while. Like used to be pretty into them. My mom would put them on all the time, but that was good. I honestly like still recommend that. Like it was a fun concept. There's like those two games going on where you have the person obviously trying to lie, but then you have 3 people trying to guess. Like they set up that show very well where it's not like one side or the other. It's like you have everyone participating has a game to play. So you kind of have 2 games going on that you're trying to that each side is trying to go for. So pretty well set up there. Howie, like at a certain point, I don't know how much Netflix paid him, but he gets like super snarky with his comments. Like he is so making so many passive aggressive jokes, and I just don't know if it's either like they told him to do that just so that that show has a little bit of edge to it in some ways, or he just like got paid such a fat bag and Netflix begged him to do this show that he's like, all right, fine, I don't care at all.
Do you think he might be slightly a snarky individual?
He is, but I've seen him do other things. Like he's not like this on America's Got Talent. He's not like it's not Deal or No Deal. His other he is a snarky individual, sure, but he is playing that up on this show, which I haven't seen him do before on a game show like this.
Fair enough.
Where his comments are like I said, almost passive aggressive or like snide remarks, and he plays them off as jokes. It's funny because once you realize that, like the look in his eyes, you can kind of tell he just doesn't care.
Sure.
And it's funny. It got around to Her.
Oh, the Spike Jonze movie.
Yeah,
Nice.
with Joaquin Phoenix. That's one of my favorite movies. Still, like top 3, I think, is where I still have it at on my list. I haven't revised that list in a while. And revisiting that this time around, like I haven't seen it in a long time, and it's still so good. Like that movie through and through is like just incredible. Incredible romance, and it's such a unique concept in both the actual concept, but also like what they're saying and about relationships and all that kind of stuff. And I would love to get that on pod sometime. That was such a good watch.
Throw it up on the short list.
Will do. If anyone hasn't seen that, please go watch that, especially if like maybe you're in the mood for romance. It's a bit of a different one for sure, but it's still really, really good. Got to Our Father, as we said. I went. Papa Schwartz came to move me out, obviously, back home. So Papa Schwartz drove out to help me pack up and move back. And Saturday night, we, after packing all that stuff, we went to Ragtag, favorite cinema spot there in Columbia, Missouri, and saw Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yes.
I liked it. But I think I got a little bit overhyped with a lot of people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, it's the best thing in a decade." Like, I liked it a lot, and it's close to that, but for me, like, wasn't like revolutionary in that regard. It felt almost. This is a weird comparison to make. It kind of felt like a live action Pixar movie.
Okay.
It's very, very weird to say, but like just like the themes of the movie itself, as well as like there are some comedy bits in there, like comedic bits and beats and stuff like that. It is, and they just had like this overall arcing message and it's familial relationships and themes. And so that's kind of the vibe I was getting throughout, but it was definitely fun. And as far as like the actual filmmaking and stuff, like that stuff was incredible too.
Yeah.
The storytelling of it was very unique. The way they kind of, did that multiverse was really cool. And the way they were able to cut through everything, like that stuff was all very impressive. So in that regard, like I was very impressed and took a lot away from that for sure. But the actual like story itself and, everything as a whole, it wasn't like, jaw-dropping for me.
Sure.
As everyone kind of hyped it up to be, and maybe that's just the fact that it was hyped up so much on social media and stuff like that, but still very good, and it's still definitely recommend for anyone else. But Blake, you said you watched that, right? You got around to going to see that?
He's not by his microphone at the moment.
I can't see him. My bad. But Nathaniel, you watched that, obviously.
I did, yeah. I saw it in theaters.
Were you as high on that as everyone else?
Yeah, but I feel like I saw it the first week too,
Yeah,
so I
sure.
haven't had to kind of sit behind the hype and see it kind of build and build and build. I think too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really, really enjoyed it.
I did
I can
too.
see where you're saying that though. Like it's a movie with a moral message and a overall arching theme that's not complicated
Yes, exactly.
or really twisty or turny. It's nuance in the characters themselves and how they
Sure.
react and how they arrive at that journey that is complicated and nuanced and complex in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
so
can
fun.
also see how you would have your
Yeah, that's interesting that you had that takeaway from that because that's one I actually wanted to get to that yesterday.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet? Okay.
Yeah, but then just some things popped up, so I didn't even get a chance to. But yeah,
Yeah.
everyone, to your point, everyone's saying, "Oh, this movie's awesome. It's
Yeah.
the best movie of the year, the best movie I've ever seen." So it is kind of hard to mold your expectations in a grounded sense and go see something like that.
Right.
You know? I almost wonder, like, if you would feel different if you would have watched it like second day release.
I
just, like,
definitely think I would have.
some random day at movie theater.
No,
you know?
I definitely think I would have. And that's kind of just an adverse effect of kind of the day and age we live in with everything like that
Sure.
and social media
Absolutely.
building stuff up like that. But that's fine. It was still very good. Blake, I'd still recommend you go see that. And there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot. Oh, we talk about it all the time on this podcast, and I've seen it a lot online, but it's like we constantly tout like we want new things and new ideas, and this is definitely that. This is definitely
Sure.
a studio taking a
Right.
chance on like a new idea. And so I definitely want people to reward that kind of chance that a studio took on this, because my brother has that friend who works in Hollywood, who works under Fox Searchlight essentially, and goes and watches these films at film festivals and sees which films are worth being picked up or that kind of thing. And apparently I don't know if he was pitched himself or his studio was pitched that film, but the filmmaker came and pitched that to them, and they denied it, and they were like what? And my brother just was like, what? Like, I can't imagine what that pitch meeting was like.
Sure.
Like what do they say in this concept of a movie? Because it's so like hard to describe and so wild, and it goes just completely all over the place. Yeah, exactly. There's gonna be hot dog fingers and that kind of stuff. So, and I'm sure anyone who hasn't seen this movie is like, what the hell are they talking about? It all makes sense when you see it, but. Yeah, it's just a wild concept, and I'm just glad something like this was made. And what was the husband's name? His act, because he's the one that's in Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it.
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but he was so fantastic in this. Loved him a lot. And the cast is all great. It's so well acted. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. In the end, I saw the turning the tables on Mr. Morale.
Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Yeah, I almost want to do how much you said the Patreon's only like $3 for that show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I almost kind of want to just toss a subscription over there for like a month or two and go through some of those, because they do cut around quite a bit. And I'd love to like just listen through the entire album with them, where I'm like listening to these songs. I'm like, oh, I can't wait till they get to this part. I want to see the reaction to this part, but they cut it out.
Yeah, and that line's cut out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I still feel like I get the gist of everything they're saying. I think they cut that down well, but they had to cut it down because I'm sure those recordings are like 2.5, 3 hours almost. At least some of them on the longer albums, and I'm sure this one was as well, because this one was a 55-minute long one. And they cut around quite a bit through the songs, so I can't imagine how long the uncut version is. But yeah, might do one of that. Maybe we just split a subscription between the 3 or 4 of us, and
each of us gives $1.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that's pretty much all I got to. Besides, of course, Top Gun. Welcome, listeners, to the main review segment of the podcast. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how a review segment works?
What up, folks? Here's your rundown.
Rundown.
If you're a new listener, maybe you've just forgotten, here's what happens in the main review segment. It's split into 2 sections. There's the non-spoiler section, and there's the spoiler section. Pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the IMDb summary page, all of that good stuff. Go around the squadron, give our first reactions. We'll all decide if we recommend this movie. It has to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. From then on, I'll play the spoiler noise, or if you can't hear it or don't want to, check in the show notes. Adam will put the spoiler time in there for you. And then we'll get into spoilers, any big twists or turns, our deeper thoughts on the movie itself. But even if you don't want it spoiled, come all the way back for us at the end of the episode to see where it ranks up on our Entropy list, which is our big list of everything we have watched on the podcast ranked. Adam, tell me about Top Gun.
I would love to. This movie was released in the year 1986. Long time ago at this point. 35 years ago or so?
I can't do math.
Yeah, that sounds about right? 36 years ago?
36?
Yeah, 36. I think that's right.
Works for me.
Someone check my math, but I'm almost positive that's right. Rated PG with a runtime of 1 hour and 50 minutes and an IMDb rating of 6.9 out of 10. Directed by, let me pull that up here.
Tony Scott.
Tony Scott. Written by Jim Cash and Jack Epps Jr., with a screenplay by Warren Scarron. Did we cut out here?
Yeah, for a little bit, but you're fine.
Yes, I'm on the good end this time.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I forgot I can just keep going. That's on me. I had to pause. I was like, oh, Nathaniel's coming back, and then I realized I am with Nathaniel now. Anyway, the cast is pretty stacked, honestly. Quite a few recognizable names here. Tom Cruise is our lead as Maverick. Kelly McGillis, Val Kilmer, Anthony Edwards, Tom Skerritt, Michael Ironside makes his return. Mr. Ratchak. John Stockwell, Barry Tubb, Rick Rosovich. There were some other Tim Robbins. What are the other ones that I'm missing here?
That's really the big one.
Those are the big ones? Okay. Cool. And then the IMDb summary reads as follows. As students at the United States Navy's elite fighter weapons school compete to be the best in class, one daring young pilot learns a few things from a civilian instructor that are not taught in the classroom.
Wow.
This is so... these summaries are fan written, but I really wish they weren't. Like, they should curate these at least a little bit.
They're very hit or miss, aren't they?
They are. This one is not very good. I just feel like they focus on the wrong... I mean, that's a storyline in the movie, of course, but it's like...
Would you say it's the main storyline?
No, not really. It is, but it isn't. Like, that's a big part. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it is the main storyline. It's not, though. I don't know. It's more the flying than that. Anyway, I'll give you the allegedly summary here.
Adam Schwartz completely subjective summary.
Yeah, well, it's allegedly summary here. Allegedly, Tom Cruise, Maverick, he's a hotshot pilot, and he gets a chance to go to the top flight school, as that summary mentioned. Him and his co-pilot Goose. They are sent to the pilot school, and of course you got your big rival Iceman. What's his co-pilot's name?
Slider.
Yeah, Ice and Slider.
Who have definitely explored each other's bodies.
Yeah, most definitely. Or in some like almost incestual ways. You know, like they look like they're related, or like they're cousins maybe. Anyway, that's a bit of a side tangent.
You're going there. I mean,
that's not officially part of the plot or the canon, but I'm gonna make it part.
I feel like this is a well-established homoerotic movie, but you just took it to that next level, and you're just like, nah, it's incest.
Yeah, no, it's. We're gonna explore those plot lines more in Top Gun Maverick, but you just for a couple weeks. Anyway, they go to this flight school. Maverick, Top Gun Maverick, whatever you want to call him. He meets a lovely instructor, and they have a bit of a romance. And then it's basically their adventures in flight school as they train and fly. And there's a fun climax at the end, as there are in most films. It's not an incestual climax; it's a filmic climax. Allegedly.
You're in a tailspin here, allegedly.
Allegedly, he's gonna take
as
a break
your
here.
wingman. I think you should take a little break.
I'm gonna take Nighthawk's advice and move on out of here. Let's get to the non-spoiler thoughts, guys. What do you? This is my first watch. Who else's first watch? One of the persons, right?
I think it was Blake's.
Yeah, it's my first.
Blake. Yeah. Blake, I'm gonna head on over to you then. Thoughts here?
I figured I'd be the first one to go on this.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This movie's just not. This is, to be clear, I would never watch this movie if it wasn't for this podcast.
Really?
Right. I've always known what Top Gun was because of Tom Cruise and like being a pilot, right? So I knew that much. But would I have had desire to go watch like a 1980s Tom Cruise movie? Like, but probably absolutely not. You know?
You haven't seen The Outsiders?
So, I'm sorry?
The Outsiders?
No, I have not.
Oh, The Outsiders is great.
Is that Tom Cruise?
He's in it.
Yeah, he's in it. He's not a big role.
Yeah, he's not one of the main characters.
Yeah, but he's in it. I just.
Well, he is one of the main characters, but he's not.
He's not like main. He's not a main character. I would say.
Sure.
Great book, decent movie. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I mean, it was cool, I guess, but this movie just personally, it doesn't really do anything to me. Right. So I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's definitely well directed and well shot for being like 1986 or whatever year it was. Like I can for sure say that, and I can appreciate that much out of the film, and that's probably why it's aged so well. That's probably why we're getting a sequel 30 something odd years later, right? Tom Cruise doesn't even look like he's aged at all, which is like really weird.
I know, right?
I was watching this.
Scientology works.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm just like, man, I wouldn't have assumed this movie is this old when you're like just looking at Tom Cruise, you know. But overall, it's cool. I mean, I guess if you're a fan of Tom Cruise or you're a fan of 80s, 90s action, then yeah. But I don't know. To me, the movie just doesn't move me, I would say. But that's kind of my brief thoughts on that. Let's go to Adam. I guess you're the next new viewer.
Yeah.
So,
this is this is another one where I would have probably eventually gotten around to this had I not watched for the pod. This is one that's like been hyped up for a while.
Okay.
It's got a lot of
Sure.
movie mythos around it, kind of like Top Gun is referenced constantly in just
That is
pop
true.
culture a lot,
Sure.
even to this day. And
Yeah.
and so that I'm just familiar of it like
It's the
vicariously.
classic dad movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. And so
You're
like
definitely right.
you know,
That's
I
how
knew
what
I
it
knew the
was.
Top Gun, or sorry, I knew the Maverick Goose references, like that kind of thing. Like, you know,
For
you
sure.
Maverick and your sidekick Goose, like that kind of thing is talked about constantly. But I'm a little bit with you, Blake, as far as like it was a little underwhelming for how hyped up it was as far as like this classic action like 80s movie. And I think that's just part of the age that comes with it, because there's only so much directors at that time could do, and for this time it's actually really well shot, and I can imagine this coming out in the 80s and it was like, oh wow, this is like really, really good, like, you know, cockpit shots with then the cutting between the action of the fighter pilots and everything like that, or the planes outside in the dogfights. That was all really good, but I've just seen so much since then that it just left a lot to be desired for me personally, and like I said, that's just a product of the age and things advancing. That being said, watching this has made me way more excited to see the new Top Gun, because I feel like since we've had that time jump, like so many advances have been made in what we can do with directing and as far as CGI and even just getting better shots of planes and stuff, because obviously they do use planes and like practical effects and that kind of thing in the new one, where I'm like very excited for this new one to see like what they've been able to do as far as like making these fight sequences and plane sequences, like make them more engaging and make that directing a little bit more fast paced than it is in this one. But overall, I like it. I did enjoy it. It was a little more sensual than I was expecting with those romance.
Hell yeah, baby.
A lot more sensual than I was expecting. Those are a lot of eye contact throughout this movie that I was just like, okay, I guess this is again maybe a product of the time. But yeah, I overall really enjoyed it. The Goose and Maverick camaraderie is apparent right from the get-go, and that's a great dynamic that plays throughout. And yeah, I'd say I liked it a lot, but it was a little underwhelming for what I was expecting. Nathaniel?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it up. I guess my background with the movie, I think I probably saw it about 15 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe once or
For the first
twice.
time.
Yeah, for the first time. Definitely one of those ones that like my family used to get the Blockbuster. Well, we used to go to Blockbuster every Friday, and then when Blockbuster stopped being around, we used to get the movies mailed to us and everything. And it was one of those ones that like my parents at one point were like, "All right, we're getting Top Gun, you know, classic, throw it on," that kind of thing. So that was kind of my relationship with it. So it was good to go back to it and stuff. That was always really cool. Definitely, I think I still have some of that Tom Cruise mythos like built into me. I'm of a little bit older generation than Blake and then obviously definitely Adam. So like, there's still a little bit of me of just like, man, he's doing the damn thing. It's Tom Cruise out there, Tom Cruising, you know. Right. And you have to just kind of appreciate that, like as a film fan. And, you know, Val Kilmer, obviously, at the peak of his powers as well, too. And you know, there's something about the movie as kind of like a, you know, 2-hour Navy advert, as well as just, you know, a kind of a classic story that the hero goes on his training quest and you know, becomes better or learns his lesson on it as well. Just a encapsulation, I feel, of like the 80s in a little nutshell.
Yeah,
still,
definitely. This is such a time capsule almost.
Yeah, it still carries this movie for me. So I definitely feel like it's, you know, its IMDb summary or its IMDb rating of 6.9 is probably pretty warranted at this point in this kind of movie's career. But there's
30 years later.
Yeah, there's definitely still enough nostalgic factor in this one for me to you know, bring me back to one I will, you know, show my family or something like that someday. I would think it's
Sure.
But who knows? Maybe there'll be a bunch of new ones I'll see since then and choose those instead. But Tyler, I imagine this is one you have seen multiple times.
You got the love and feeling. Yeah, man. I've seen this quite a few times. This is obviously a classic for me as well. Yeah, man. It's just You hit the nail on the head, man. It's Tom Cruise doing Tom Cruise stuff.
Yeah. Not a
And,
lot of running in this movie.
I was gonna say not a lot of running in this movie, but
That's one thing I did notice too. That's
there's a lot of leather jackets.
Oh, he looks so good in that leather jacket, man. Oh, so good.
There is a lot of erection talk.
Yeah.
And there's a volleyball scene.
There's a volleyball scene.
There's
And he's
the
playing it in
volleyball scene.
jeans.
Yeah.
There is super young, early, before Hollywood's like, you got to be super pretty unibrow Tom Cruise.
And it's a tooth in the center of his head, Tom Cruise, as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's great. It's just one of those movies that was kind of, a little kind of first of its genre at the time. There wasn't a whole lot of being able to film fighter pilots and the kind of shots that they got up in the air and stuff like that. So very kind of ahead of its time in that sense. But I'll be excited to see what they do with the second one. This is kind of hyping me up a little bit. But
Right.
I mean, definitely a recommend for me. It's Tom Cruise. It's fucking Top Gun.
Yeah. Top
fair,
Gun.
man.
Did we all say would we recommend?
Oh,
Recommend for me.
I'm gonna recommend. This is fun.
Blake, I feel like you would obviously be the one that could go the either way.
Yeah, I mean, I would just go no, right? I mean, I think eventually, once you don't like things, I just gotta not recommend it
Sure,
personally.
that's
you
fine.
know, not that it's a bad film. Objectively, I can understand that, but
Allegedly.
I think I can give. I don't think I can give that opinion I gave and say, "Oh yeah, go watch it."
Sure.
No, that's fair.
Very fair. All right. Well, that's 3 recommends and a not recommend from BlakeHolder. We're going to go ahead and hop on in to spoiler talk here. So if you've not seen Top Gun and do not want it spoiled for you, go ahead, check that episode description where I've left a timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to the ranking of the movie up upon the Entropy list. Spoilers. Shit goes down in the sky. Lot of vertically inverted.
Yes, that's true.
That was flying
See, I see
inverted.
what you did there.
Thank you.
Goose dies.
Dude, I was not expecting that at all.
Really?
No.
Yeah, that was.
I didn't
sad.
think that.
I'll
Yeah,
give
I
you
was
that.
I was like, dude, I loved Goose. Goose was
Yeah.
their camaraderie was great. The way they were their banter, if you will, back and forth, and it was just so great throughout the movie. I loved it. And so when he died, I was just like, damn, man. What is Tom Cruise gonna do? And then they have that one sub-in pilot that he tries flying with during training, and he's just like, "Oh, dude, easy shot." And I'm like, I'd be also pissed. Come on, man. you have shoes to fill. I just flew with this guy for years. He's my best friend, and he just died
2 days later.
And yeah, it's 2 days later. He hasn't even had a funeral yet, and you're gonna fill in nothing's changed. Come on, man. That was
What's that guy's call sign? Sundown or something like
I
that?
don't know.
Oh yeah, I don't remember which one that is.
It was
Sundown sounds right.
Yeah, I don't know. I could maybe find out in the cast here. I can try to check, but yeah, that was sad.
But at the same time, they're we were even talking about this at the time. They're
it is sundown.
okay. They're like, Tom Cruise, you've done bad, and Goose didn't die and on your fault, but it was also basically your fault as well too. But it really wasn't.
No,
it was the
nothing.
canopy and they don't even they never bring that up. That
right?
he crashed into the canopy and snapped his neck. It wasn't like Tom Cruise was holding him into the cockpit
Right?
still while the thing went down in flames.
Or he
around
pushed
him.
Goose down so he could jump out of
Right,
the crane or
yeah.
something like that. There was nothing he could have done. It seemed like the beat that they were trying to make was he blamed himself for losing control, which is where you could say he had the most.
Sure, because he was being
influence.
reckless. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but he wasn't really being reckless. He was trying to get those points. Sure.
He was writing checks, or his ego was writing checks that his body couldn't cash. Man.
Okay, you could say that as well. But yeah, I was they. I don't know. I just couldn't get behind the whole fact that he was blaming himself for so long because there really wasn't anything he could do in that scenario. And I don't think they could have. I don't know what else they could have done along that story to be change how Goose dies to maybe make it more Tom Cruise's fault so that he does feel more blame for it. I don't know. But I was very sad when Goose died, to be honest, because I had no idea it was going to happen. And especially after you meet his wife and kids, and then
Meg Ryan.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, good for Goose. You know, he seems like such a good guy, and he's just gonna hit his head on a canopy. It's just like
bites the dust.
Yeah, that was it was harrowing.
Blake, did you feel like this was somewhat anticlimactic?
Not necessarily, like I said, because seeing the Goose, that scene is that was moving. I would say that. I wouldn't say that the movie's not emotional, right? Or it doesn't have a heart, right? That's kind of like the thing people say is, oh, this movie has no heart or no spirit. I wouldn't say that. I think I'm just personally so far removed from like the demographic of this movie.
Sure.
And I don't have like to your point, I don't have like the nostalgic interest in Tom Cruise.
It's very white middle class male, isn't it?
Yeah, so to be like, hell yeah, I love Tom Cruise, which Tom Cruise is a good actor for sure. I'm not saying he's a bad actor by any means, you know, but it's just not something where it's like, yeah, like, and I get to watch like an older Tom Cruise movie, and I've grown to see Tom Cruise over the years, where I think the first thing I can recall Tom Cruise in is probably the Mission Impossible movies, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think just tonally, like in terms of the tone of the movie, it just misses me and like my interest. But I don't want to get on here and say like this movie sucks. It's American Pickle. Like that's not what I'm saying. I want to be clear with that, right? So I don't think the movie's bad by any means.
Just didn't do a lot for you.
It's just not for me.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest way to say it.
That's fair. Now, does this movie have any bangers? Because that's where I'm going to disagree with you.
It does have bangers.
It does have bangers. Danger Zone has never felt more right in this movie. Yeah. You know, the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's probably one of the more famous.
What's
ones.
the one that's playing when he's romancing his lady? Take my breath away.
Yeah, man.
There are a few songs in here where I'm like, I've heard that before. I couldn't tell you the name of it or who sings it by any means, but it's definitely got some pop culture reference.
There's a bit where he's riding in the elevator with Charlie, and he's like trying to put the moves on her and stuff. And then they cut to a wide shot outside immediately after, and the building's 2 stories tall. And I was like, how? Like, what is happening in this elevator? And
I didn't catch that.
I was reading the IMDb trivia afterwards, and there was like apparently early test audiences. It was like there wasn't enough romance between the two of them, so they added that scene in post. And I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense.
That does make a lot of sense because they have no context for where he's coming from.
Right? Yeah, it's just them in the elevator.
Yeah, it's usually like, oh, you could use another shower. Just like, did he not just take a shower?
Yeah, like what is happening here?
Where did he come from? Did he play more volleyball? I don't know. And then she's in the flight jacket and hat for some reason. Like that's the only time I really see her.
She also has seems to fly planes every now and then.
Yeah, she seems like she's got a lot of flight knowledge for someone who's not a pilot. So
yeah, she's a civilian.
Yeah, I don't know.
The flying in this is pretty cool.
It is.
And that is something Tony Scott, brother of Ridley, was known for. He always
makes sense now.
He always photographed action well.
Yeah.
And had a lot of really good
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Action movies. But Tom Cruise is great in this. Val Kilmer, I think, is good with what he's allowed to do. He's really not. Iceman really isn't much of a character in this. It seems.
Yeah. He's there to be the counter to Maverick,
and he's kind of more charismatic than I think the role allows him to.
Exactly.
Be
Yeah.
In some ways, and there's also something I never buy Val Kilmer as the straight man, I will follow all of the rules type flyer that he's supposed to be. He looks like too much of a troublemaker, but yeah, I mean it's iconic for a reason. Mm-hmm. It's funny. I think I definitely think it's a movie that people remember being more kind of action packed and over the top than it maybe actually is in hindsight. But it's definitely one that if you're having a long 4th of July Memorial Day weekend and you want to feel you want a no, thought war movie or action movie to throw on, it's still worth the time of just kind of putting it on there on a Saturday afternoon or something.
Yeah. I love even with Iceman, like they have some like good overarching story beats between the two where obviously that rivalry is established immediately.
Yeah.
And then later on, Ice is talking about like, you're a good pilot and everything, but like ultimately like you're kind of dangerous, but like whose side are you on? Like ultimately like we're flying together, and then they keep building that rivalry to the end of the flight school stuff, and they have obviously the incident with Goose, and then the final climax of it. Of course, you're gonna get your rookies to go on this super intense mission to go flight these.
Russians.
The unidentified, very unambiguous red starred pilots in MiG-28s. Exactly, the MiG-28s. But then like obviously like they're flying together, and it's then apparent they're still on the same side. Like they were rivals, but they're fighting for the same side. They're able to become comrades through combat essentially. And Iceman gives them the respect he deserves, and also like they don't. Another thing I liked is like they never make it feel like Tom Cruise should be better than Iceman. Like Iceman holds his own, especially at the end where he's making all these great maneuvers to save his plane and buy time for Maverick to come back and save him and stuff like that. And so like they build it up well enough for you to respect Iceman, but you also see how Maverick is, the raw talent that he is, that kind of thing. So they get to do a good job on that end for sure. I want to call a sign like these. They were there, just tossing around all these Mavericks and Goose, and it just felt so natural.
What's your name?
Fun.
Maverick.
Maverick.
Oh,
Did your father hate you?
It's my call sign.
Yeah, it's a great pickup line. I don't think it'd work with allegedly. I don't think.
What's your name? Allegedly.
It's my call sign. You a pilot or something? No, I play Halo. Any other big story beats you want to talk about or anything like that? Or are we going to put this up upon?
It's a pretty simple movie.
It's very simple.
At the end of the day, it's Top Gun.
I was going to say, as much as I love this movie and, as much as there is here, it is an hour and 50 minutes, but it is very, very straightforward. I do like your question to Blake, Nathaniel, on whether or not it was anticlimactic, because at some point, after a rewatch or, I've seen this movie quite a few times. It does feel a little flat at some point because the flying almost seems like they're like, we got one fucking day with these jets,
Right.
And so they're like, we got to get it all done. And so then they're like, all right, now we'll fucking fill in the rest. And so that's kind of what it feels like, which kind of feels like, the editing, you can kind of see that. That's why it kind of falls a little short for me. But overall, man, the music's great. The acting, for the most part, with what they're allowed to do, is phenomenal. I love Val Kilmer. I pretty much love him in everything he does. He is phenomenal, and he's always kind of got this "I'm better than you, but I'm charismatic" kind of tone to him, regardless of what he's in, and it's just pretty great. And I've always kind of grown to like him a lot. So
the first meeting they have when like all the teams are there for the first time for Top Gun introduction or whatever, Slider has his arm completely around Iceman during that entire scene.
I told you,
just like, this is my boy. No one touch him.
It's incestual,
It is not incestual. It can be homoerotic.
All right, maybe I'm reading into it a little bit.
They're
too
not
much.
family.
Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
They've explored each other's bodies. I'm dying on that hill.
I'm just saying, they don't say they're not related.
His name's Rossovich.
I don't know, distant cousins. Who knows? They look alike.
Not related.
Oh, okay, fine.
Tyler, and again, this is just me not having seen this for 15 years. In my mind, I always remembered it as Iceman becomes his Rio, his dude. They pair them together in the final battle where he rides behind him and everything. And I'm glad I rewatched this.
See that, but yeah, obviously through the movie you see that it's a little different just because there's so much alpha between the two of them. They got to both be in the pilot seat.
For sure. Yeah, and I'm glad we ended up doing this for the rewatch too, because if I had gone into the new movie with that, I'd be like, where the fuck's Val Kilmer the whole movie? Because it seems like it's much more individual in these ones, which I wonder is if that was part of the requirement at the time, because I think they were using training planes in this one. In the training plane, you always have the instructor behind the pilot, so I wonder if, like, for the exterior shots, they would have had those guys anyways, so they came up with this. I'm not sure if that's, completely 100% accurate, but it seems like in this new one, from the 5-minute clip we saw before Doctor Strange last week, I don't know if they have that mechanic again.
I wish they would explain a little bit more what the Rio kind of does, because I was a little bit lost. Like, obviously, I know, Top Gun's the pilot, and I'm assuming there's, obviously, you have the co-pilot for a reason. There's things that the pilot's not going to be able to focus on completely. There's a lot of things to factor in, altitude, all that
visual
kind of stuff.
And that
yeah,
kind of thing
and
too.
spotting people, too, is obviously what they were alluding to. But, maybe go into a little bit of detail. I don't know how exactly you could have done that, but I feel like that would have been appreciated as someone who obviously doesn't know the specifics of fighter,
it feels like there could have been a scene of, like, this is your Rio. They're the number one guy, and you guys don't pay enough attention to them and that kind of thing.
Or even in training school, like, maybe be like, okay, Maverick, like,
who was Viper's Rio? Like,
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Was it Jester?
Yeah, right. So it's just like, maybe just explain a little bit, like, all right, but that's what, have maybe a line where it's like, your job is this, and Goose's job is this, like, rely on each other, like maybe one of those kind of things where it's like the instructor's trying to instruct them like how to work better together, and at that point you give the audience a little bit more of an idea of what each role is. The other thing is, what does MiG stand for? Does anyone know?
It's just the Russian.
Is that the just model of plane?
Yeah, like ours is the F-14 or F-15.
Gotcha.
Theirs is the MiG.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like a abbreviation for some kind of like you have like a bogey, but maybe they call them something specific.
No,
for the planes.
yeah.
That makes a little bit more sense then, for sure.
At one point, Carolia was very off this movie. She's like, it's super cheesy, and then like 20 minutes in, she's like, is this gonna get any better? And I was like, we don't have to watch this together if you don't want to. So
she wasn't down for the romance.
Was a little out, but I can see,
that elevator
it's definitely
exactly.
As much as they want to paint it as a kind of a romance, there's definitely, it's just mainly like a dude movie.
For sure.
It is a dude movie.
Ultimate dude movie.
Ultimate dude movie.
Yeah. Super bro movie.
I thought I saw something that the Navy put recruiting stations in the theaters on there, and that like their recruiting was up like 300% that year.
I would not be surprised.
Oh, back when this aired.
Yeah, when it first came out.
Yeah.
Also, Nathaniel, before we stopped playing volleyball, I wish we would have, kind of had a little bit more of like a Top Gun high five every time one of us scored a point or something like that.
We could still come up with something
over
there.
the top, just looking.
Let's go.
They need some pit vipers.
If there's not pit vipers in the new one, I'll probably just walk out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he was playing in jeans. What are you doing? Not only like you playing volleyball in jeans, but you're in the sand. Like, that does not seem comfortable.
He's free balling it too.
Oh, 100%. And then he goes straight to the date without showering, so he's sweaty and sandy.
Also,
man,
that's the other funny part too. Like, there's just nonstop sweat in this movie.
Yeah, they're all dripping.
It's like a Michael Bay thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Miramar, not the most humid place in the world either. Like that,
right?
Like Cali, like weather. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I love all the close-ups of the eyes. All the eyelashes are wet, and you can see that they're just clearly like just
spraying
water
the
whole
between
time.
scenes.
Yeah, it's an aesthetic choice.
Like the thing came up and it was like Miramar Fighter Town, USA or whatever, and I misread it as Flavor Town the first time it popped up.
Diners, drive-ins, and
I was
dives.
like, whoa, what a crossover!
Everyone's doing a multiverse nowadays. I can see it. All right, well, let's get this movie ranked up upon here, ladies and gents. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast, we're going to go ahead and put Top Gun up upon the Entropy list.
Up upon.
For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. It's essentially how we rate our movies, rather than do it out of 5 stars, out of 10, whatever it is. We throw up all the movies we review on a list and see how they compare to one another. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it is linked to my Letterboxd. This is an interesting one to put up there. I think the only other one we have like a direct comparison to would be The Rock, of course. Another classic 80s action film.
No, The Rock's from the 90s, right?
Is it? It is 90s. My bad.
I was thinking that's the closest thing we have to compare this. I guess when's Die Hard? That's got to be 80s, right?
That is
That's
the
80s for sure.
80s.
Yeah, so those two for sure. Which, let's see where those are right now. Die Hard is 57, and The Rock is 61.
57. Whoa.
Yeah. And The Rock 61. This predates both of those. Well, obviously The Rock, but Top Gun 86, Die Hard 88.
The year Justin was born.
Wait, is this the earliest? Is this like the oldest movie we have on here?
Actually, me and Nathaniel had that conversation Sunday.
We did.
I think it is.
It is. I
By
think
like
it's
a long
Halloween.
way.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Shining,
Yeah, yeah.
1980.
I think it's the first.
Oh, and Halloween,
I think that's
78. Okay.
78
Yeah,
or something like
Halloween
that,
78.
76.
So then the Halloween is.
Yeah.
I forgot we have.
Yeah,
those
we need
two.
to work on that too.
Older movies.
Crazy, yeah,
Yeah,
because
we
that's
could.
something you thought we would have known. And
We got to get like a Rear Window or a Hitchcock on here at
For
some
sure.
point. But there's more Kubrick to
Just
go
more
through.
more horror movies.
More, yeah, exactly what we need. More horror. Okay, now I actually got to figure out where I might place this. It's an interesting one because it's both good, but like also like not cookie cutter is not the word I'm looking for, but it's not like anything like over top special.
58.
Okay, you're just gonna put it out there. 58 below Die Hard and above No Time to Die. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I think Die Hard maybe just aged a little bit better for me, and
Yeah.
I've definitely watched Die Hard more than I've watched Top Gun. I really do like Top Gun, but I think this last viewing maybe just maybe it didn't sour for me at all. But I think the anticlimactic portions of the movie that kind of they weren't quite built well, and now that I have a more critical eye, I'm being able to look at like the editing and everything like that and how everything plays out. I think those play a little bit more of a factor into it for me, so I'm gonna put it just below Die Hard.
Fair enough. So 58 for Ty.
For almost the exact same reasons, I'm going to put it at 59, below No Time to Die, above Eternals.
59. Okay.
I just I think No Time to Die might have a little bit. I'm playing a long game there.
Okay.
Thinking that one's gonna age pretty well in the long run of everything. I can't put it above Die Hard. I think it's right up there above The Rock for me, and then it's definitely better than Black Widow and Eternals. So that's where I'm going. 59.
All right. Blake, do you have an idea or you want me to go?
You go, bro.
I want to put it a little bit higher to where you guys are at, but there's a few movies below there that I do enjoy quite a bit. So I'm going to have to put it at 67, below Blind Spotting and above Ghostbusters Afterlife. I see how Blind Spotting, like, is sinking pretty far down the list for, like, how much I enjoyed that movie. But then, like, Tenet, I don't absolutely love, but it's still pretty good. Enjoyed myself. Same thing with, like, The Descent, The Notebook, Insidious, The Rock. Like, those are all movies that I had, like, so much fun with. And although I really enjoyed this movie, it still was pretty underwhelming for me overall. So I think, 67 is a pretty good spot for me. Everything below that, I'm, like, okay with putting this above. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to put it, 67.
Yeah, I like you on that, my man. I'm looking at that, and I was actually going to go 69, but pardon me, I was actually going to go under Candyman, but then I seen The Matrix above that, and I was like, there's no way in hell that's the case, and this is certainly better than Matrix. So I'll actually I'll go ahead and co-sign with you. I'll go 67.
67. So
So,
2
So
67s.
yeah, I was like, can't be above The Descent. No way.
Yeah.
Can't be above Tenet. Insidious, The Notebook. I like The Rock more. Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh.
So yeah, I'm good with 67.
All right, fair enough. So 2 67s, a 58 and a 59 brings us to an average of 62, meaning we have to tie break with Insidious, which, as I'm looking at here, that's a close one.
That movie's aged.
As we said before, Top Gun 6.9 out of 10 on IMDb. Insidious 6.8.
Ooh.
So Top Gun narrowly beating out Insidious and will land at 62, knocking down Insidious 63, and it will land right below The Rock at 61.
Yeah.
Good spot for it, though. The Rock. That movie was fun.
It's a good one.
Not nearly as sensual, but that's okay.
Just depends how sensual you find Sean Connery.
Very. So maybe it is just as sensual, or if not more. All right, well, Top Gun locked in there at 62. And that concludes our review. Haha, see what I did there?
I do.
Thank you. Next week's review is going to be a new film, one that I don't know how many viewers would have seen the trailer for or have interest in, but it's called Men.
Men.
Who's the director of this one? It's when I was
Alex Garland.
Yes, he did Ascension. Is it what it's called? Annihilation and Ex Machina. Yes,
and he basically also directed Dread.
Oh, okay.
A little bit of open secret in Hollywood that movie was taken away from its main director, given to Alex Garland, who basically made it awesome and didn't get full credit for it.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Have you all seen Annihilation?
I have.
I have not.
I'm sure Nathaniel has.
Indeed.
Have you seen Annihilation, Ty?
Is that oh God, why can't I think of his name right now?
Oscar Isaac.
I think Oscar Isaac is
yeah.
To be honest with you, yeah. Natalie Portman's in it as well.
I think I've seen like I know I've finished it. I haven't watched it in one full sitting though.
Okay, sure.
And it's been a minute.
One of those.
Yeah.
Well, Men
That's
is coming.
Awesome. I'm gonna rewatch that before we see Men, just for the Alex Garland Stan account.
Men is coming only to theaters. It's another A24 joint. So those two things together.
There we go.
Seems pretty good. So yeah, go check out Men if you're interested, and then check out our review next week. Nathaniel, do we have a 5-star review? We have a large harvest. We had a large harvest. I don't know if we've burned through it yet. We gotta be close, right?
Actually have burned through our large harvest.
Okay. Well, we need a new batch of reviews here, folks. So go ahead, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Give us a 5-star review. It's got to be 5 stars. And what do they get if they leave a 5-star review, Nathaniel?
If you leave a 5-star review on either Apple Podcast, I don't check the Spotify one, but
yeah,
we'll
I say that, but I haven't checked yet. But we will.
You get it read out on the podcast. Doesn't have to be nice. It can be mean. It can be funny. Just don't be evil. And give us a 5-star review, and we'll read it. But it has to be 5 stars.
Exactly. What else do we have here? Trying to check the email because I forgot to do that earlier and it's not loading, which is unfortunate. But you can also send us an email to backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. That's another way you can get your thoughts read out on the podcast. Send us any questions you have, comments, concerns, grievances, anything of that sort. Send it to our email. And then you do have a chance to get that read out on pod as well, as Ryan Foley writes in quite a bit. Waz does as well. You got several ways to get through to the Back Row Boys.
We love questions.
We love questions. Haven't gotten a good one in a while. But it's this time of the pod, around this time of the pod where, we'd love a casual comment or a casual question to talk about.
I think last time it was, what ship would you want if you could have any?
What fictional starship would you like to pilot? I think was the question.
Yeah, there you go.
Brandon Watsney. But what real starship would you guys like to fly? I guess there's only a few types. You got fighter.
Whatever Elon Musk can afford to put me in.
Okay,
that's my answer.
Probably the MiG-37 or whatever it is.
MiG-28. Or 30. Yeah.
Think they'd be up to 37?
They'd probably be pretty high, right?
Maybe it's like the MiG-1000. Maybe they would go with that naming style.
Yeah. Or they just
T-1000.
Yeah, exactly. Just like the Terminators.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, send us your questions. You can also share the podcast. Please share it with a friend, a family member, maybe your co-pilot,
Maybe your wingman.
your wingman,
Your Rio.
your Rio. Anybody else that you have in all your other flight school buddies.
The guy you have weird sexual tension with on the volleyball court.
Who may or may not be your cousin. I'm just saying, it's not confirmed that he's not.
This is a very strange.
That's time to include that.
I've committed too much to this bit to let it go.
Yeah, you're at the point you need to write some fanfic.
Okay, well, I wasn't gonna go that far, but hey,
you're gonna be over there in DC. You're not gonna have a lot to do.
That's true.
Maybe it's time you get
the Top Gun fanfic out.
The Iceman Slider fanfic.
Yeah, it's very timely. I'm sure so many people would go and read that.
I think if you package it right, it's all about marketing, bro.
You're right. No, it is. It is. You're gonna have to talk to me about how to market that one because I would be kind of lost.
You've got a brand. You've got a known IP.
Okay.
You gotta target the boomers.
The boomers. All right. I'll try to make my gay incestual romance marketable to the boomers. That sounds like a great challenge.
You're gonna do well.
Gonna be rough.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little challenge.
You gotta think. You've got a great angle here with the military. You're gonna do great in the evangelical states.
I see. I have my angle. I have my in. We're gonna make it work. Anyway, follow the podcast on Twitter at Back Row. At Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod. YouTube, it's just Back Row Banter. And then, as I said before, our email is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some stuff out of 5 stars. You can see what I've watched recently. If I value something highly, I'll go ahead and put a review down, which I haven't done in a while because I haven't valued anything highly. So we'll go from there. But yeah, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. Go ahead and click a follow, and then we can see what's going on. And I'm thinking of actually starting to create like actual list on there, in terms of like favorite movies like in this universe, or favorite movies by this director, or favorite movies of, you know what I mean, just kind of doing stuff like that. So I'll see if I get around to it. It's a big commitment, but I'll see if I get to it. So that's what I got. Let's go to Nathaniel.
What up, folks? You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at @NSKingrick. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. Sandpiper Tapes is the other podcast. At some point, there'll be something new on there. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe that's the spookiest story of all.
Let me know if you need any. You know, I'm not even going to do it anymore. I've overplayed it at this point.
Tyler, tell me where the people can find you at.
Twitch.tv/ultrabajo87. We stream there, and we like to play games and have fun. I've been toying around with the idea of switching my Tuesdays to
Halo.
Hello.
Halo.
Hello.
Oh, Halo. I'm like, hello, hola. And I've been toying with the idea of potentially switching to like a Monday, because I currently already stream Monday nights. So if I can get like a day stream in, then I'm taking advantage of kind of like the whole day.
Yeah.
Which is nice. So we'll see. We're toying around with it.
Sure.
But other than that, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter are all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES.
I think that leaves me. You can find me on Twitter at Aish24, on Twitch at twitch.tv/Aish. Streaming quite a bit. Halo grind continues.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's been fun playing. I've been, ever since I got back from Kansas City, I've been just playing incredible. Like I got so much better in 3 days of playing with all those like pro players and semi-pros, and like I came back and was just continuing playing really well. So it's been fun, feeling really good. And then Letterboxd at Aish would be the last place you can find me. I think that's it for episode 102. Top Gun. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. You're my favorite type of listener, and we appreciate it more than you know. Join us next week for our review of Men, and we'll be RB.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next week. Be excellent to each other, and we will be RB.
Thanks for stopping by, and we appreciate anything you can do or have already done to help us grow. It's something that we strive for, and we really appreciate anything you can do. Other than that, just be good to one another. You never know where somebody at's in their journey, and we will be RB.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the love and support as always. We always appreciate that. Um, what's it going to say? Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So that's this month of May. So go ahead and stream something revolving that culture. Adam's watched everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah,
If you can get out there, support that. If you can find
definitely.
an old movie reference, old horror movie, The Ring, anything of that nature, go ahead, please support that heritage and that culture. Outside of that, that's about all I've got. So we'll BRB, and thanks for listening.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Now we're recording.
Amazing. Yeah, dude, it's so good. That album is incredible. We got to do a bit of sizzle on that. I don't know when you guys have time to record next week. I should have a free night or two, or we can
For sure.
do it like an extra, or like, I don't know if we want to do it in person. We could just show up a little bit early if we got time. We'll figure that out. But yeah, we got to talk about this album. My
Next,
you go ahead.
hang on. No, next week I'm okay to record. It's the week after, so the week of Memorial. Actually, no, because I'll be back on Monday. So I'm going on vacation, not this weekend, the following week, the weekend of the 27, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Okay.
But I come back Monday anyways, so scratch that. We can still record.
Okay. I
'Cause I can
leave.
watch the movie probably Monday evening.
Okay. I leave the 3rd, so I don't know.
Okay,
what we have.
for sure.
Yeah, so
What's
I'll
that,
still be
Friday?
here. Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah.
So I decided to go down on Friday. So I have like the weekend to move in and everything like that and settle in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. My brother texted me some blasphemous stuff though the other day or yesterday. He's like, I just like Damn more. And I was like, okay, like I can't be mad at that. Like Damn is an incredible album. Like, that's very valid. He's like, yeah, I just don't like any of the songs on the album. None of them are bangers. And I go, okay, now back up. Now you're going a little bit too far. Like I can understand if you like Damn more, but to say this album's not good and that there are no bangers, I just listed like 6 songs, and I'm like, these are all songs that I will have on repeat for a long ass time or put in playlists, that kind of thing. And he's like, yeah, I just don't like any of them. Like I can see how people like them, I just don't. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I guess that's your personal taste, but also like don't go around spreading that.
I appreciate your opinion, but also it's not a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's basically what I told
me
him.
and Nathaniel kind of chomped up about this on Sunday because I came in the store. And I mean, I can see what your brother's saying. I still think Damn and Good Kid, Mad City are like his most palatable albums.
Too.
Like you can put them on in like damn near any setting. You can play them in a car.
Sure.
You can play them when you got some people over. Right, we're like this to kind of what Nathaniel was saying is that this sounds so much more like what you would have thought the follow-up to Pimp a Butterfly was going to sound like. It's like this is kind of what you thought Damn would sound like, and Damn was like so commercial, which was awesome though.
Yeah,
to hear that. But this is definitely back on like the boom bam bop jazz.
Yep. It's just
super.
But also it's like
black mental health rap. You know what I mean? And to a lot of people, that shit is not it, man. Like I can understand that. I don't think you can say it's bad though. I think
it's
that's
not
like a massive stretch.
It's like the production is, you're right, way back to like more classic Kendrick, but the rap itself, it feels like his style east of rapping also feels very different than before. Like it just feels a very modern, very new, like him trying new stuff.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Some tracks
I feel him. I feel him on the not being his favorite. Obviously, that's opinionated. But I mean, there's definitely some bangers on here. I would say he's definitely he's kind of wild for that one to say that there's.
I know that's why I was like, I can respect the fact that he likes Damn more. Like I'm never gonna say Damn's not a good album. It's incredible, and it honestly overall might be a better album than this one. I'll have to give this more time to like settle in, because I've now had 5 years to listen to Damn, and I still think it's incredible. Maybe I don't feel the same way on this one. But to say there's no bangers on here, like, dude,
even the he doesn't like Die Hard.
Yeah, that's one of the ones I listed.
Beat.
Yeah,
that's like
dude.
who doesn't like that song? You can play that song and anybody would like bop their head.
I was just listening to that on the way over here.
Yeah.
That's like it almost feels like some of these songs he's like trying to imitate other artists a little bit. That one feels very Drake to me.
It is, yeah.
Like
it's
very
Views,
reggaeton,
super pop.
Yeah, and he's got the female beat on there, and then he's got like a unique chorus with the different artists coming in for the chorus. Like that one feels very Drake. We Cry Together, like I said in the chat, feels like very Eminem.
Yeah,
there's like a few different tracks where just like
multiple artists before.
Yeah, and then there's one I forgot which one it is, but it has a bit of a Condre beat to it. Or sorry, Condre. Kanye.
That's a new.
Well, that's his.
I
forget which one it is, but it's the one where there's a bit of a gospel to it.
Is it?
I don't know if it's. I don't think it's Father Time. It's not Rich Spirit. It might be
Savior. It might be Crown. Is that the?
Yeah, it might be Crown.
Can't please everybody in the background. You can't please everybody.
I like that song a lot.
Yeah, that's good.
I actually I didn't even really think to compare the two albums. I look at this as kind of like a different Kendrick.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. Like it just feels very unique. I think Baby Keem also has so much influence on him in this album. He like not only is he obviously featured, but I can feel a lot of Baby Keem's kind of producing or stylizing coming in both in vocals and production a little bit.
Yeah, I like Baby Keem.
Yeah,
he's cool. Yeah, he's not my favorite, but he's cool.
Melodic Blue is just really good. I didn't listen to him that much before Melodic Blue, but I really liked Melodic Blue.
Yeah, but yeah, man, it's good. I would have to sit back and see where I rank it in my K. discography.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but,
is it your album of the year so far?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I mean, yeah,
without a doubt.
I hate to say stuff like that because it just came out though. Like that's like super hot take. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be up there off the top of my head. I mean, I can't think of one I thoroughly enjoy as much. Let me look at my albums from 2022.
Yeah, Rich Spirit is another one that I just love. It's got such a good vibe too.
That's so me and Nathaniel were talking about that. That's so much like Element to me. That's like Element part 2. Like Element's like, I'm gonna make it look sexy.
Yeah,
got, like, the very
melodic,
funny chorus, and he has like the bitch, I'm attractive, like going out through the whole chorus, and it's very catchy and melodic and like upbeat. You know, it's like I can definitely see where he was going on that one.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that one a lot. I honestly don't hate any of the songs, to be completely
there's
honest.
none that I'm like, I don't like this. There's none that I'm like, I don't like this. There's some that I like more than others, obviously.
Oh, for sure.
But like this album is potentially, again, gonna have to give it more time, but it's one that I don't think has many skips, if any.
Yeah, man. I like it. I like N95. I like Worldwide Steppers.
And then dude, United in Grief into N95 and then into Worldwide Steppers, like when listening to that album with me and Noah too, we put it on, and the lady I had mentioned in the group chat, but we put it on and dude, my jaw just dropped at the beginning of United in Grief, and it didn't close back up until we got to like a rich interlude. Like, oh my god, that was an experience. I love like
I think the last like 4 songs on the album too. Like it's got a heater of like 4 closers too.
For sure.
Because the last 4. The
Anti-Diaries
at the end, right?
Anti-Diaries into Mr. Morale, which is Mr. Morale is incredible too.
And the Mother Eye Sober.
Mother Eye Sober is dope.
Yeah, and then Mirror is like a good, nice little full circle kind of thing. It brings back that beat from the beginning of United in Grief. Like,
but those 3 back to back are just
those 3 back to back flow so well together. Yeah, the opening and the ending are the strongest parts. The middle, after like Rich Spirit, like We Cry Together is great, but We Cry Together is not one that I'd like put in a playlist. Do you know what I mean? It's like
the replayability is tough.
Yeah, it's one where exactly
headphone music 100%.
Exactly. It's not like I have friends over. I'm gonna put on We Cry Together, and we're gonna vibe to
time and place for that song.
Exactly. When I'm like, oh, I'm gonna re-listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers all the way through. I'm not gonna skip it because I think that is such a key part to like the theme of the album as a whole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually, so when I listened to it, I just kind of sat on my patio outside. It was like 11:30. It was really nice outside that day too. So I just kind of sat back with some headphones, just rocked out. Shout out to Sony WH-1000s.
Yeah.
I use the same
one
ones.
thing
Yeah.
what you say, Nathaniel?
I use the same ones.
Oh yeah, you got to, man.
They just
One
released
thing
the
I was
XM5s.
pleasantly surprised by is because when I listen to albums for the first time, I try not to. One, I never skip around. I always let it rock talks about them. But then I try not to like look at the track list. So like I was so surprised when I heard like the Kodak Black narration. Like at first it was just like the intro to the song, and I'm
The
like,
interlude.
I love that piano bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think at first he's on the intro to
Rich.
I think it's Worldwide
Rich Spirit?
Steppers.
Or
I think
maybe.
he's in the beginning. He's got like 3 lines. I'm like, what the fuck? He's got Kodak Black on here. Then he's got like the full interlude by himself for like 2 minutes.
Yeah. And he comes
that was
back
just
on
cool,
Silent
man. Because
Hill.
like Kodak's he's good, man. He's got a lot of controversial flack to him. And he also came out with like that generation of rappers like we were talking about turning the tables and like Playboy Cardi, Nathaniel, and like Lil Uzi Vert and those guys. Like he came out with that group of rappers, so people like automatically lump him there. But his catalog is like so much more diverse, where he has a lot of substance in it. You know what I mean? So it was like really pleasant to hear him on something like this. I'm like, okay, maybe he'll start getting credit for how talented he is.
Right.
So
yeah,
man, it was all around pleasantly surprised. It was dope.
Yeah, this album was everything I could have wanted it to be.
Yeah. Only thing I didn't like is there's no TDE on there. I really wanted a J-Rock feature. I don't know why. I just love J-Rock. But it's all good. Would have taken him or a Schoolboy Q feature, but we'll wait another day. Another 7 years.
Should we kick it off?
Oh, you can't
Let's do it.
please everybody. Yep. I just want to listen to the album again. I'm not gonna lie.
Turn on the Turning the Tables after this.
I already watched it.
So did I.
Oh, you haven't watched it?
No, I did.
already have.
Oh, okay, for sure.
I haven't seen the one on the Hard Part 5, which is what my brother said his favorite song was out of all of them.
Really?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. He said
I
that.
still can't believe he doesn't like the Die Hard songs. Like that's like the easiest song.
Yeah.
Like my mom would like that song if I put that on.
That song came on and we were halfway through and I was like, turned my room and I was like, this is one that's going in every playlist. Like
for sure,
this and Rich Spirit are ones that
sure.
you can just put in any playlist and you're good. It's also like both of those songs not really like a Kendrick type beat, you know, like it's not nearly as flowy as it usually is. It's definitely more of like a melody,
right?
Not less rap, but it's also good. You want to toss on the movie?
Yeah, I suppose.
We can keep this on if you want. I'm vibing with it.
For sure, yeah. They're just an attorney.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're playing the Chipotle Cup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we can keep it on then.
For sure.
Whatever you want to do. But yeah, I'm ready to kick this off. Let me get the timestamp mark down here.
I'll play you in.
I'm ready whenever.